Okay, treasure hunters, here we go. I saw a post on Discord that stopped me in my tracks. And guess what? My algorithm must be tuned into the weird and wild because lately, Bigfoot has been showing up everywhere. Now, before you roll your eyes or grab your tinfoil hat, hear me out. I'm not into fear-mongering, and I'm certainly not trying to scare anyone out of going boots on the ground. But this one's got a twist of real concern and real mystery. According to a video I just watched, there were two separate incidents this spring along the Appalachian Trail. Stories of bikers and hikers being attacked, or worse, by something resembling a Sasquatch-like creature. Yep, you heard me. Apparently, these weren't just isolated events. Sections of the Appalachian Trail were reportedly shut down following these encounters. And it gets weirder. Recent reports from primatologists, actual scientists who study primates, claim they've obtained blood samples and DNA from an unknown species. DNA that shows both human and ape markers. What's more, they've captured vocalizations, deep, guttural, otherworldly, that don't match any known species. So, why don't we talk about it more? Stigma, pure and simple. People are afraid to be labeled crazy, but these scientists have gone on record after seeing these creatures firsthand in the field. And here's the scariest part. Two of the stories describe hikers being herded into traps, not just chased, but strategically stalked. We're talking intelligent behavior. Bear spray? Might not cut it this time. I'm not telling you to cancel your trip or abandon your solve, but I am telling you to pack like you're walking into the unknown. Stay within 3 miles of a trailhead, travel in groups, and keep your eyes open, not just for treasure, but for anything watching from the tree line. And if you think I'm kidding, here's what the Discord gang had to say. I'm okay with finding Bigfoot. Might be better than the treasure. No bear spray needed, just beef jerky. Bigfoot hates Cairns. And Karens. Absolute gold. Whether you believe or not, there's something stirring in the woods. Keep your wits about you, keep your GPS charged, and maybe, just maybe, bring a snack for the hairy guy. The treasure is out there. So is the unknown. Ready for an even deeper dive, treasure hunters? Today we're tracking down the truth behind those Appalachian Trail attacks and trying to answer the big question, what is Bigfoot? Documented attacks along the AT, spring 2025. Recent incidents reported by hikers and bikers describe moans, heavy branches breaking, and, in 2 cases, physical injury in remote trail sections. A YouTube report titled Sasquatch Kills Cyclists on Appalachian Trail in 2025 claims these are the clearest and deadliest encounters yet. Following these events, trail authorities reportedly closed specific AT segments. Verification is murky, but reports suggest at least 2 closures. DNA, blood, and vocalization evidence posts in cryptid research communities allege purine to pyrimidine DNA ratios, unlike any known primate, suggesting an unknown species. That said, other researchers analyzing purported Bigfoot hairs often find matches to common mammals, particularly bears, and sometimes hybrids, not a new hominid species. Vocal recordings, hollers, howls, and chest beating have been documented near the AT. Some hikers captured eerie calls shortly before troublesome incidents. Appalachian Trail encounter lore. One Reddit user recounts hikers in North Carolina being warned about Bigfoot by armed poachers. It wasn't about wildlife, but warning them off the ridge. Another subreddit highlighted strange vocalizations in the Appalachian Nights, howls that defy known fauna, what Bigfoot might be. Cryptozoologists and folklorists generally propose 3 core theories. A surviving species from an ancient primate line, perhaps from Gigantopithecus or Paranthropus, much like how cryptid legends tie to this theory. Anthropologist Grover Krantz supported this idea based on footprint casts and possible bone structure evidence. Skeptics overwhelmingly believe most Bigfoot sightings are black bears, especially when standing, plus hoaxes and human trail mishaps. Even so, a small subset of footprint casts, nests, or wood knock patterns remain unexplained by known wildlife. Folklore, spirit, or supernatural entity. Folklorists link Bigfoot to indigenous North American wildman tales dating back centuries. Theories in paranormal circles include interdimensional beings or nature spirits with abilities like disappearing footprints and glowing eyes. Why we see Bigfoot in the AT region. The Appalachian Trail stretches nearly 2,200 miles through vast remote forest habitat, prime territory if you believe an undiscovered creature might hide. Historical folklore from Cherokee and Iroquois traditions speaks of giant forest guardians or shape-shifting entities in these mountains. Trail cameras, nests, and vocal recordings continue fueling ongoing investigations, yet no bodies or feces have been found to conclusively verify the creature. So, Bigfoot remains an enigma. We have stories of attacks, possible DNA anomalies, and unexplained vocalizations, but no definitive walk-into-camp evidence. That means one of three things. There might be a real creature, a relic species lurking in the deep woods. It's a myth with a scientific sheen, built on misidentifications, folklore, and cryptic forest sounds. It's a blend, something unknown, but not necessarily a new primate. For treasure hunters venturing onto the AT, trust your gut, stay together, carry more than bear spray, and let curiosity drive you. But be cautious, because in these woods, even an echo might be more than just the wind. Welcome back, treasure hunters and seekers of the strange. In our last episode, we touched on recent Appalachian Trail incidents involving possible Sasquatch encounters. But what I found next, on Reddit of all places, sent me deep into a rabbit hole of howls, harmonics, and something even older than Bigfoot. So buckle up. Tonight we're not just chasing clues, we're chasing sound waves, shadows, and maybe even monsters. Let's start with the audio. A Reddit user shared a chilling encounter from deep East Texas. Piney woods, thick game trails, a spring-fed pond, and two deer found neatly eaten with no signs of struggle. But it wasn't the deer that stood out. It was the sound. A roar so deep, it shook their chest cavity and skull. A vocalization measured at 375 hertz, which is far below a typical adult human's vocal range. Most humans max out around 650 to 720 hertz. This question mark. This came from something with a chest the size of a horse, and it wasn't alone. 6, 7, 8 more voices joined in, harmonizing, echoing, layering the air with what one witness called multiple howls in one. This is where it gets fascinating. Scientists and cryptid researchers suggest these creatures, call them Bigfoot or something else, may possess extra air sacs in their throats, allowing them to generate multiple vocal tones at once. That would explain the harmonics, sound waves stacked vertically, punching through the air at inhuman magnitude. And these harmonics, humans simply can't produce them. Not at that power, not at that depth. These sounds don't just vibrate the air, they vibrate you. Reports describe instant headaches, nausea, involuntary urination. Even pets, trained, tough dogs, go limp, hide, or lose control. Catahoula and pit bulls, cats that suddenly refuse to go outdoors. One woman said her house-trained dogs wouldn't step outside for 2 weeks after a roar. That's not a normal animal. That's fear. That's something older. Now this is where I almost dropped my coffee. 1 week after that Texas roar event, the same witness captured chanting, an actual vocal phrase repeated twice. Like a war speech, she said, like it was preparing for a hunt. 6 to 7 guttural words, unintelligible but unmistakably spoken. Not howled. The cadence was something between Tuvan-throat singing and a Viking battle cry. Only deeper, bigger. Again, multiple creatures joined in. This wasn't random. This was coordinated. So what are we dealing with? Some researchers who analyzed the Texas recording said, that's not Bigfoot, that's cynocephaly. Say that again? Cynocephaly, a name pulled straight from ancient myth. Dog-headed humanoids. Stories of them go back to Egypt, India, and medieval Europe. Saint Christopher was even drawn with the head of a dog. The Greeks feared them. The Chinese chronicled them. And some researchers today believe they're still here. Pack hunters, military intelligence. Declaration howls. Whether that's folklore wrapped around truth or just myth stretching to meet mystery, is hard to say. But in East Texas, the people hearing these howls aren't laughing. You don't have to go far to find stories. Let's jump coast. Washington State, Issaquah foothills. One witness sees a reddish-brown creature, 9 to 10 feet tall, step out from the woods just 50 feet away. It turns, looks at him, walks off, completely silent. He's still shaken. "You must think I'm crazy," he kept saying, but he knows what he saw. And then there's the woman in Florida, followed through dense brush by a silent, glowing-eyed creature. Her boyfriend saw the eyes, slanted, glowing blue, 9 feet high, no trees around, no wind. It stalked them diagonally, never breaking line of sight. It shrieked at them. Not a coyote, not a panther. They fled in a blind panic, and they haven't slept the same since. The East Texas encounters happened last fall, from September to November. And guess what? September's 2 months away. So here's what I say. Don't go looking for these things. But if you're in the woods, whether hunting treasure or just hiking the AT, stay alert. If you hear something, you feel before you hear it. Don't freeze, don't panic, just leave. And if you get a recording, share it. We need more data. Have you experienced something like this? Audio, sightings, strange reactions from pets? Drop a comment or send us a message. And if you're a bioacoustic expert or cryptid researcher, I'd love to talk. Stay sharp, stay skeptical. And remember, sometimes the thing watching you from the woods isn't looking for gold. It's looking for you. If the last story shook your bones, this one may just rattle your soul. Because tonight, we're not dealing with just howls in the forest. We're talking glowing blue eyes, invisible stalkers, infrasound panic, and a mysterious breed some researchers won't even call Bigfoot. They call them cynocephaly. Let's dive in. A man driving a rural road near Pike County, Indiana, sees something impossible. A tall, upright figure, thin, pitch black, like it absorbed light itself, steps across the road, and it has glowing blue eyes, not reflected, glowing, self-illuminated. It didn't growl, it didn't run. It just looked, acknowledged, and vanished into the woods. His cousins saw it too. One of them would later confirm the eye color in a text exchange. No animal native to Indiana fits this description. No bear, no cat, no man, just shadow and light. In semi-rural Maine, two campers spend a chilly fall night at a remote campsite. First, they hear rocks being thrown into a nearby stream. Plunk, clack, splash, as if something strong, with hands, wanted their attention. Then come the hoots, whistles, stomps. Surrounding them from multiple directions, their dogs are alert. They feel it in the air. As tension mounts, they hear limbs breaking. Heavy movement. Something walks the perimeter of their tented area, circling, pressing inward. One camper announces, "We are the wrong ones," as he loads his pistol. But the night goes on in silence. Whatever it was, it watched and left. Back in Texas, a Reddit user reports a terrifying new chant recorded near her home. It's not just a howl, it's a speech. 6 or 7 repeated syllables, deep and vibrating, like a Viking battle cry. The voices are massive, she says, harmonized, and they chant in unison. A witness described it as preparing for war. Some researchers reviewed the audio and delivered a shocking answer. That's not Bigfoot, that's cynocephaly. In myth, cynocephaly are humanoid, but with canine heads. Ancient warriors, pack hunters. Real? Unknown. But this isn't the first chant, and it's unlikely to be the last. Elsewhere in Maine, in the Howland region, campers hear more than howls. They feel infrasound, sound too low to hear, but powerful enough to sicken the body. Dogs panic, people freeze, rocks thrown, branches broken. They were encircled. One camper's words, "The forest went silent, then the air shook. We were too drunk to run. We just waited." In Ohio's Cuyahoga Valley National Park, 2 stealth campers, former Marines, encounter something that stops them cold. It huffs, breathing deep, loud, closer, closer. They glimpse a dark shape between trees, smell rot and musk, something not deer, not bear, not human. They don't investigate. They leave. Veterans, armed, trained, and calm under fire, choose not to engage. Pennsylvania. A group of 6 male hikers, armed, experienced, and ready, are pelted by stones. First one, then another. Silent shapes circle them in the night. No footsteps, no lights, just presence. The rocks keep coming. Morning reveals a clear path beaten into the brush and humanoid prints. Not boots, not claws, bare wide feet, and they never saw who or what was throwing the rocks. New Jersey, Christmas Eve. A driver sees a towering figure walking along the road. 7 feet tall, no neck, just bulk. It vanishes into the woods. Local research confirms the region, Warren County, is part of a possible migration path. From Florida to Maine, from Ohio to the Pacific Northwest. There's a pattern. We just don't know the reason. Washington State, 1998. A 10-year-old boy watches something huge cross a clearing near Shooksand Golf Course. Hairy, silent, walking upright. He tells his grandmother. She laughs. A decade later, Bigfoot shows up on TV. He sees a map, his location, covered in sightings, and the memory comes rushing back. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't imagination. He saw something. Let's summarize. Glowing blue eyes, speech like chants, infrasound that affects animals and humans alike. Rock throwing, stalking, and non-aggressive, but very real encounter sightings in nearly every state with dense forest or water access. Some call it Bigfoot. Some call them dogmen. A few whisper cynocephaly. None of them say, it's nothing. These stories don't seek to convert you. They ask only that you listen, because every witness remembers, every animal knows, and the forest never lies. If you've seen the eyes, if you've heard the chant, drop us a message. Until then, stay aware, stay curious, stay safe, and keep your flashlight pointed toward the shadows. A week after his first sighting in Henry County, Missouri, the witness sees them again. 2 pairs of glowing eyes, one high up, deep red, the other low to the ground, amber orange. A crouching juvenile? A mate? Or something more primal, scouting the area again, watching for reaction? He tells his story to Miguel from Sasquatch Theory, mapping where the creature moved and possibly came from. One thing is clear, this isn't over. In Yellowstone, a listener remembers a woman named Kathy. She suffered a heart attack, her memory affected, but she saw something she couldn't explain. Dizzy, disoriented, alone in the park. A creature, a feeling, a ranger who didn't believe her. Her episode vanished from the archive, but her words linger. Yellowstone is a known hotspot, and Kathy's sighting, though dismissed, resonates with anyone who's felt watched among those ancient trees. 1984, Washington State. A 12-year-old riding shotgun with his dad spots eyeshine. Over hills, through trees, it never moves. His dad flips on the high beams, and there she is, a female Sasquatch, 7 to 8 feet tall, squatting beside the road. She shields her eyes and turns, skin on her palms, hair on her arms, a thin upper lip. Then 2 steps, and gone. Later that night, food left as a peace offering is taken. The next day, greasy finger streaks across the railing. Something wiped the pole clean, and that night, the deck creaked again. Hairy National Forest, North Carolina. A camper and his black-mouthed cur, Max, settle in. At dawn, Max growls, then refuses to leave the trail. The next trip, a putrid stench descends, like roadkill and waste. The dog freezes. Later, alone, the man hears knocking. 3, 4, 5. He knocks back. It mimics. Then, a crash through the brush, no shape visible. It was close. Too close. From stealth campers in Cuyahoga Valley to solo hikers in Uwharrie. Every witness says the same. It was watching us. It never made a sound. We never saw it move, but it was there. Whether throwing rocks, mimicking voices, or disappearing into tree lines, they all follow a pattern. Washington, Missouri, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, North Carolina. Across the U.S., a trail emerges, Migration patterns? Territorial scouting? We don't know. But the glowing eyes, the vocal harmonics, the stink of rot, and the weight of presence, it's not random. They're moving. This is part 3 of our journey into the unknown, where we don't just see the creatures, we start to realize they see us too. Tonight's episode pulls directly from real accounts, not stories, testimonies, people who had no reason to lie, no book to sell, no spotlight to chase, only a truth they couldn't keep quiet. Let's begin. We talked about a Missouri man who saw something standing upright, pitch black, no sound, glowing blue eyes, not reflected light, but self-illuminating. But the story didn't end there. He wrote again, "This week, while taking the dogs out, I saw 2 pairs of eyes. One was the same height and glowing deep red. The other was lower, closer to the ground. Amber, either crouched, younger, or on all fours. I think it came back, to see how I'd react. This time I didn't feel fear. I just watched." He started documenting it all, recording interviews, mapping the terrain. And here's the part that matters. It didn't act like a wild animal. It acted like it was evaluating me. Some stories vanish, but some stick in your memory like a splinter. A user on Reddit recalled a woman named Kathy, older, maybe dealing with memory issues from a past heart attack, but what she saw in Yellowstone was unforgettable. She said she felt dizzy, disoriented, like something was wrong with the air. Then she saw it, a tall shadow in the trees, watching her. She told the ranger. He laughed it off. But people remembered her, because her voice cracked not from fear, but from conviction. Yellowstone, the geysers, the hot pools, they hide things deeper than lava. Washington State, 1998. A child just 10 years old attends a wedding near Bellingham. He gets bored, wanders to the putting green to roll golf balls around. Then, something caught the corner of my eye. A huge figure, 50 to 75 yards away, walking upright between the trees. I wasn't scared, just confused. It was tall, massive, no clear face, just movement. Years later, I saw a Bigfoot documentary on TV and realized, that's what I saw. Sometimes your childhood memories aren't imagination. Sometimes they're warnings you forgot to believe. Let's head to Uwharrie National Forest in North Carolina. The witness, not a rookie, an avid hiker, camper, and woodsman with his loyal black-mouthed cur, Max. In March 2019, he camped alone with Max. That night, Max stood over him in the tent barking. Footsteps, heavy, slow. Not a deer, years passed. But in September 2023, it happened again. I smelled something like roadkill and feces, thick, warm. It just descended out of nowhere. Max froze. He refused to move. I had to kick him to get him going. Then came the knocking. 3 knocks, then 4, then 5. I knocked back, and something answered, not an echo, a reply. He stood, shouted, raised his shotgun. Whatever it was, it crashed through the trees. I never saw it, but I felt it, the sound, the weight. I've never returned alone since. Graham, Washington, 1984. A 12-year-old boy rides with his dad in a pickup, heading down a pitch-dark gravel road. He spots eyeshine. His dad says it'll move off once they get closer, but it doesn't. We crested a rise. Dad flicked on his new high beams. That's when we saw her, a female Sasquatch, squatting beside the road, shielding her eyes from the light. The details are unforgettable. She had a pronounced brow ridge, hair on her arms, breasts. Her skin on her palm was a lighter tone. When she turned, she took 2 steps and vanished into the tree line. That night, they heard movement on the deck. They found grease marks wiped down a pole the next morning. All the fruit? Gone. And late at night, the father whispered into the darkness, "We know you saw us. We mean no harm." Washington, Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, the same eyes, the same knocks, the same dread, across seasons, across decades, from wedding venues to stealth campsites to highway shoulders, They show up. And the spike, always in the fall. September to November. Migration, ritual, mating. We don't know, but the map doesn't lie. So what do we know? They move through our world. Quiet, watching, measuring. Sometimes they throw rocks. Sometimes they chant. Sometimes they stare from the edge of the woods. We call them Bigfoot, dogmen, cynocephaly, but they don't care what we call them. They've been here longer than us. And if you're camping this fall, look for eye shine, listen for knocks, and whatever you do, don't knock back.